This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
AI is incredible. It can teach you how to fry an egg and even write a poem, pirate style. Yarr! But it knows nothing about your work. Slackbot is different. It doesn't just know the facts. It knows your schedule. It can turn a brainstorm into a brief. And it doesn't need to be taught. Because Slackbot isn't just another AI. It's AI that knows your work as well as you do. Visit slack.com/meet Slackbot to learn more.
Before we jump in, let me set the stage for today's episode. This isn't a surface level conversation. We're getting into real world insights, what actually works, what doesn't, and how to apply what you hear today in a practical way, whether you're building a business, a brand, or your next opportunity. And I want you to stay with me until the very end, because I'm offering a free bonus specifically for listeners who finish the episode. Something that can help you skip the line and move faster if being on this show is something you've been thinking about. All right, let's get into today's conversation. Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to this week's podcast. I'm excited about today's guest, Greg. EOS framework, he's going to talk to us about that, what he does for business clients. I'm really happy to have him on. Greg, welcome.
Thanks, Chris. Nice to meet you. Introduce
Yourself. Excited to dive into the questions.
My name is Greg. I'm in Southwest Michigan. Grew up in Detroit. Entrepreneur by heart. Started multiple companies. Got to be honest, one day I was heading into work and was regretting going to the place that had my name on it. And I thought, wow, that's not the way that's supposed to be. I came across EOS and off to the races ever since then. Absolutely fell in love with it. It's like having the cure to business cancer. Tremendous. I love sharing it.
For listeners and viewers, what is EOS? What does it stand for? What's the framework and how you use it to help clients?
EOS stands for Entrepreneurial Operating System. It is not software, but it gives you a framework to understand how to run your business effectively. The 3 things that are results of what we typically have are vision, traction, and health. Vision from the standpoint of getting the leadership team 100% on the same page on where you want to go and how you want to get there. Traction by instilling discipline and accountability at the leadership team level, and healthy by creating a healthy company culture that attracts all the people that you want it to attract and repels the people that don't belong. That's the overarching goal of what we want to accomplish.
You talked about vision, traction, healthy. Those are the 3 things every leadership team must master. When clients, we talk about client avatar, when people hire you, what do they hire you for? To solve a particular problem or to achieve a certain goal? What are they wanting out from you?
Typically, we see several frustrations that business owners go through. For the most part, lack of control. The business is controlling them and they're not being able to control the business. They're frustrated by people issues. They don't have a real grip on their business, profit or the lack of profit. As entrepreneurs, we go into this and we start these organizations to build a legacy for ourselves and our family and get financial freedom. Then we find ourselves absolutely handcuffed to the business. Everyone wants to be the business owner until it's not fun anymore. Those are the things that we really see often, is just getting a grip on it, not having the flavor of the month club. We've implemented this, it didn't work, that sort of thing. This is really to drive traction of where the leadership team wants to go.
About it. EOS tools that transform chaos into clarity and how to get unstuck.
When we're talking about the EOS framework, we're talking about strengthening the 6 key components of every business. The 6 key components are actually right behind my head. That was from a presentation I gave last week to a new client, but it's vision, getting everyone on the same page. We spoke about people, having the right people in the right seats. Those are tools that we can talk about. Data. As entrepreneurs, we tend to run our businesses from gut instinct, right? We need to start to run it off of the hard data. Issues. Every business owner, we're just really problem solvers at the end of the day. How do we set those problems up, knock them down, and make them go away forever? We give a framework around that. Process. We take a 20-80 approach to our processes. making sure that once we have our core process documented, they're followed by all, and then traction, gaining that momentum moving forward on a weekly, quarterly, and yearly cadence.
For the listeners, these ideas are really key. The thing that was really fascinating to me in my journey was business owners being the bottleneck. The one thing that Tony Robbins saying is the psychology of the business owner. You talk about stop being the bottleneck and building a business that runs without you. How do you help clients with that?
We start with the people portion of that and having right people, right seats. The right seats, we start with structure first, people second. I'm a big sports fan and tend to use a name that most people will know, Tom Brady. Would you take Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, on your team? I always ask that question, but I wouldn't take him if I was building a baseball team, right? Because what position would I put him in? Having the right structure for your organization is key. Then having the right people in your organization that fit your core values. One of the tools that we use is we take our core values that are discovered. They're not aspirational core values, but they're discovered through the tools that we use. And we make sure that everyone on the team shares those core values. If they don't share those core values, they're going to be working in opposition against you. I don't care how many bolt-on processes that you try to put around that person, it's never going to work because they don't share the same values that you share. So once we have the structure and the right people, we put the right people in the right seat for that. That's one of the tools that we use. It's amazing because it doesn't matter if I'm working with a team of 10 or a team of 200, all the seats on the leadership team throughout, they're all things that are already being done. What most business owners tend to find is that they're in 3 or 4 of the seats, maybe 5, right? That bottleneck is they're wearing these hats all the time. When you start to lay it out on a whiteboard and you start to work through that, the business owner realizes, well, I'm doing way too much. Finding those right people to put into those seats frees them up. I just got off a phone conversation with a client this weekend. He said, I'm not looking for more homework. I need my team to be able to do more of what I'm doing so I can be the face of the organization. And that's what we concentrate on is where do you want to go as an organization?
Quick pause here because if this conversation is resonating with you, you'll want to stay until the very end. At the end of this episode, I'm giving listeners who finish priority access and the ability to skip the line if being a guest on this show is something you've been considering right now. No action needed. I'll share exactly how it works at the end of the episode. All right, let's get back to the conversation. There's always a time when a company is ready for EOS. How do you know when a company is ready and what are the signs?
A company is ready when our target market is $2 to $50 million in revenue, 10 to 250 employees. I've worked with teams of 3 and with much larger teams. The moment you feel like you're playing fireman, you go in every day and all you're doing is putting out fires as a business owner. You needed EOS a couple of years ago. Those are key signs when you're handcuffed to the business where you cannot take a vacation or you can't take a day off because the house of cards is going to collapse. You need EOS. I'll share a story with you. When we implemented EOS, I was everything. The business owner tends to be the star, right? It's really hard to sell a business if you're the star. You can't do it. In 2021, I came down with COVID and I was really sick. I had my phone off for a month straight. I went back as soon as I felt better. I got back in the office. I started to talk to my integrator. I said, Josh, tell me what's going on. Come on, we've been together for 6 years. He's like, everything's fine. I go, come on, Josh, don't BS me. Tell me what's going on. He goes, I don't know what you want me to tell you. We did our job. We put money in the bank. Everyone got paid. And it was like, I have a business now. That was eye-opening to me of being able to get hit by the proverbial bus for a month and not have any conversation, not one, with the team, but they were able to move on and persevere and grow without me.
What is one EOS tool that listeners could start using tomorrow?
My favorite tool is the VTO, the Vision Traction Organizer, because that's the basis of where we start. The Vision Traction Organizer, a 2-page document that answers 8 questions. And those 8 questions are, what are our core values? What's our core focus? What do we do really well, better than anyone else? What's our passion for it? What's our 10-year target? When I talk about 10-year target, being in Michigan, are we going to drive to Seattle, Washington or Tampa, Florida? Those are two completely different roadmaps. We need to know what the end looks like in mind. Then we go into marketing strategy. What's our demographic, geographic, and psychographic of our ideal client? We've defined our three uniques. What do we want to tell our customers? What makes us head and shoulders above our competition? That's what we need to be sharing with them. We get into the proven process and the marketing strategy. We start to work on the 3-year picture. What does that look like? As a team, we have to be on the same page on what does this look like in our mind's eye. Once we all are in concert of what that looks like, we start to drive towards that. The 1-year plan is our measurables along with the 3-year picture of the same measurables. It's what do we need to get done this year? And then 3 to 7 goals, the non-negotiables that we need to get done as a group that we all agree on in order to move us forward. We go into 90-day rocks. Those are the 90-day priorities that we need to get done as a team because we can't get everything done at once. We would love to as entrepreneurs, but we can't. And we have the long-term issues list. The things that we can't get done in that time doesn't mean that they go away. We have to compartmentalize and place those on the long-term issues list. I would say that's the most important document. As a small to medium-sized business, I've used that to recruit other people and saying, hey, if you want to join our team, these are our core values. This is what we do best. This is how we roll. And here's the plan on how to get there. It's not a 30 or 40-page business plan, but really concise map of how we want to get there. Like the old AAA triptychs, right? I'm dating myself now, but how we're going to get where we want to go.
New Year, same extra value meals at McDonald's. So now get 2 snack wraps, plus fries, and a medium soft drink for just $8.
For limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Hawaii, Alaska, and California, and for delivery.
When we talk about leadership operating system, what's the most common problem you see when you first walk into a leadership team session room?
Confusion, not being clear on the roles, not being clear on where they want to go. Depends on family organizations are different. Sometimes there's dysfunction there. It's not meant in a derogatory way. We start to operate the best we can without having that clarity. I always like to say clarity is kindness. Being clear on what expectations are kind to everyone that's involved because we know what those expectations are.
How long does it take for EOS to turn around a company in terms of impact, structure, execution, relief? What is the difference between a business that runs on EOS and one that's just getting by?
Great question. It depends on the size of the organization. A smaller company is going to be more nimble than a large company with 5,000 people. Small to mid-sized companies, you see within 6 to 12 months, things starting to turn around and the chaos starts to calm down. Larger companies may take a little bit longer. As long as the leadership team is unified with one voice, that will calm down quickly. If there's fractures in the leadership team, there's going to be a Grand Canyon down below. We need to make sure that we're really concise and we have all the right people in the right seats at the leadership team level. Being said and done, 6 to 12 months in a small to medium-sized business where everything subsides and you start to gain traction. It's interesting because you start to see the quarterly rocks being less about fixing issues and more about growth at that moment in time. That's when the fun starts, is when we're really getting into, okay, what do we have to do next in order to grow? That's a time frame. We tell people have a 24-month commitment when you're working with an implementer because it takes that long to get used to running your business a different way. There's all sorts of tools that we teach along the way.
Tell us a turnaround story for EOS and how can people connect with you and reach out to you?
One of our clients is a roofing company. If you talk to him, Jim will say that he always thought he had a roofing company and he found out he had a people development company. I love this story. They got to the point where they hit their goals for the year. And Jim decided to take his whole team, 200 employees plus their spouses, on a cruise once they hit those goals. They hit the goal, Two different women came up to him at two separate occasions, and they both grabbed him and they started to cry on the shoulder. He's taken back. What's wrong? She goes, I don't know what you did for my husband, but he's completely changed. They both said the same thing. He found that they were a people development company and their profits started to soar. One of the things that he had said was, we don't have a labor shortage for us because it is permeating out to the rest of people out there that want to work for us. We have to start to sift through applications for roofers that are out of state that want to come work for us. It's a great story. Of course, we want to have profit and want to make our jobs and our lives easier. He was changing the culture of his organization, the culture of those families that were bought in to that organization. I wake up every day that I get to be able to do that for people.
Thanks so much for coming on and bringing light to this interesting new approach.
At the end of the day, we're all really good at what we do. You were a physician. You may have been great. I was great at my other job. I wasn't great at running a business. And it's a normal thing. Once we understand the framework on how to do that, it makes life a lot easier for us to reach our goals. You can stop by, you can email me at greg.giniel@eosworldwide.com if you'd like to talk about it. I love talking to business owners. There's no pressure whatsoever. I just want to help people where they get to where they want to go.
Thanks so much for coming on and for a great podcast.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure to meet you.
If you stayed until the very end, congratulations. You've earned the freebie. As promised, here it is. Email chris@drchrislewmdphd.com. You'll find it in the show notes and simply put podcast freebie. A member of our team will reach out to you about being a guest on the show. If you found value in today's conversation, please take a moment to rate the show 5 stars and follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It helps more people discover the conversations we're having here. To be a premium guest on the show, book a spot or join our podcast community. You'll find the links in the show notes below. And if you're looking for more personal guidance, you can book one-on-one coaching call with me. Our books, products, and courses are linked in the show notes. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.
If you're a landlord, you know managing rentals on pen and paper can be a major headache. That's why there's RentRedi. RentRedi is a smarter, simpler way to collect rent automatically, screen tenants, track expenses, and keep up with tenants all in one place, so you can make time for what matters most. Try RentRedi today, risk-free, starting at just $5 a month at rentredi.com. That's RENTREDI.com.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kan du norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.